In 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today it's a slow news day, no denying that. I believe Giuliani is coming to a conclusion with his case with Ruby Freeman, the mom and daughter team. Hunter Biden is taking on Congress, suggesting that it's wrong what they're doing to his dad over his personal financial irresponsibility. Somewhat of a slow news day, but I want to do something that I have never done before. Some folks may be upset by this. Some folks may favor what I'm doing, but I'm only doing it because it's a slow news day. And I've had some conversation, family members, other minorities, other liberals that have suggested that maybe Biden is the wrong path and perhaps Trump may be better if he was reelected. So today, as you see, the program is titled, why, I'm going to do it from this standpoint. A devil's advocate goes MAGA. Now, I make no secret about my political leanings, but I don't think either side is all bad. So today, I'm going to take upon the role of a liberal that woke up and decided maybe Trump is better for this country. I know I got a hell of a lot of liberals in the audience as well. So I want you folks to tell me what's so bad about President Trump. Good economy, 3.5% jobs numbers, not a lot of hell of global affairs going on during this time. We weren't anywhere near as close as we are to World War III. So today, just for today, I want to tackle it from the standpoint of what would happen, or better yet, why is it so bad if Trump got reelected? I'm taking it from the other side. A devil's advocate goes MAGA. That's what we're doing today. So I'm going to go to the box as always. The program is, as always, it's MAGA friendly. It's always has been. Nevertheless, liberals are certainly welcome today. You know what we always say, I don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So if you think I'm absolutely crazy, completely bonkers today, feel free to come in the box, let your boy know. You know we're not going to censor you. So asking that question, why would Trump be so bad? I've had some folks even on the left, some African Americans tell me that. So I'm going to take that role today. And I want to see what you folks have to say. Slow news day, let's see what's going on. In the comments, Tim, it was a whole tariff war with China. Kareem, I'm on the other side now, so I'm asking you this. Did you not like what you were bringing home? Did you not like what you paid at the supermarket for groceries? Do you like it now? Do you think that things are better off for you financially now? Do you think most Americans feel the same way? You like what you're paying at the pump? Going to the box. We'll go straight to Furback. Appreciate you folks that are tuning in. Tap the screen. Get your boy likes up to 5,000. It's an unusual program. Furback, good afternoon.
What's up, Tim? It's pretty great. So how you doing?
It's good to have you on. So we're doing the Devil's Advocate goes MAGA. What's wrong with another Trump term? 3.5% jobs numbers, get our $2 gas back. What would be so wrong with Trump back in office?
Well, me personally, when people say, no wars, this and that, okay, granted, I think a civil war is more important than wars is not on our shores, off our shores. So I think that's the potential of supporting Trump.
But why would we, if President Trump was our president, why would we have a civil war? You talking about a bunch of liberals would be snowflakes and decide to act out?
Well, I think they might.
Well, then that's a liberal problem. That's not Trump's fault. If the liberals don't like democracy, don't like the fact that Trump won and they decide to do something stupid, that's the liberals' fault.
It's their fault, but it'll be Trump's problem to deal with, regardless of whose fault it is. You know what I mean? I guess I would ask you. I have to ask MAGA supporters. So At what cost? I mean, I would pay $10 gas to have a safe nation and have peace.
I don't disagree with that. $10 to have a safe nation. I'm on your side, but we can't let the liberals dictate how our election should go. If Trump wins fair and square, and the liberals want to act a fool, then perhaps we need to put them in handcuffs. You can't let them dictate how the election go.
Agreed. But I also think that Trump would be an embarrassment on the world stage as well. I think he was an embarrassment last time. This strength that people think he has, I just don't see it. I think a lot of people look at him as any other bully. You hit him in the mouth and he folds.
So how do you respond? In the comments, I'll ask you this. Navy Nan stated, "We are not safe with Biden. Do you think the current guy is making us safe? All these wars breaking out, you feel safe with Biden in office?"
If a bird is hibernating, is he more likely to eat you and maul you, or he just gonna sleep?
But are you suggesting that Biden, the current commander-in-chief, is quote-unquote hibernating? That don't make him sound very good.
But I'm just saying, if we go with the other side of the aisle, he's Sleepy Joe. So is he sleepy, or is he just mastermind of corruption and all this? I mean, pick a lane. That's what I'm saying.
What if we just want a leader that is sane and awake and in control of his faculties? Is that too much to ask?
No, vote for Vivek. He's Trump right nut. I mean, you're not going to get any closer to Trump than Vivek.
Yeah.
He pretty much says it himself. I mean, he would be the figurehead. They say Obama's running this term. Vote for Vivek. Trump is going to have his ear, and you'll have what you want.
All right, so
you won't have the 91 felonies. You won't have all the baggage that comes with him. And guess what? Trump can still talk his shit, and there would be no repercussions for it.
Well, but the felonies, listen, the reason they're all after this guy is they are afraid that if he becomes our commander-in-chief, he's going to get rid of all of this corruption, the deep state. Maybe the felonies are just something they're coming up with to try to prevent this guy from being president again.
Okay, two things can be true. You know what I mean? I give you that. When I hear that argument, I'm like, it can be political and he can also be a criminal.
All right.
I mean, two things can be true.
Fair enough. All right. You made it easy. I appreciate it. I got to move it on for the great. Appreciate it. Come on back. Absolute.
Love your show, brother.
Hey, thank you. It's an honor. And I will say, for folks who are wondering what the hell's going on, no, I didn't buy Trump's NFTs. I saw somebody stated that. Slow news day. So you see the program is titled Devil's Advocate Goes MAGA. Talking to a few of my family members, folks, and they're starting to say, well, what would be so bad about President Trump getting reelected? So just for shits and giggles today, since it's a slow news day, I'm going to take the role of a liberal that maybe woke up and decided Trump might be better for the country. So Devil's Advocate Goes MAGA. So I will be coming at you from a standpoint that maybe Biden is not in the best shape to be reelected a second time, and maybe we need to choose Trump. So looking in the comments, if you like the dictators, Trump's your man. Better watch what you wish for. Trump was president for 4 years already. I didn't see a dictator. What say you? Federal government has never chased one person down as they have President Trump. Hell of a lot of folks agree with that. Hell of a lot of folks on the right are saying the same thing. Looking in the box, I'm going to say these people lie. All right, we'll keep it going. Courtney Lurden, tap the screen. Get your boy up to 10,000. I do appreciate that. Show your boy some love, so do tap the screen. Courtney, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What would be so bad about Trump getting reelected?
I guess the only thing I'd be worried about is he wouldn't leave.
What do you mean I wouldn't leave?
He would be elected and then he would try not to leave again.
Oh, so you believe that if Trump gets elected, he's going to try to stay in power for the rest of his life?
Well, if he puts everybody in position where they need to be, he could do that.
What about the notion that maybe he's trying to put in the right people to get this country back on track?
I think he's a wacko.
Do you favor Biden getting up there and shaking hands with people that don't exist and falling down on stage, falling up aircraft steps?
Biden's not the greatest either.
Okay. So perhaps maybe Trump is better than Biden.
He's not competent right now. I think there's somebody else needs to take his place.
I don't. There's a lot of folks that don't necessarily disagree with that, but until we find somebody more competent, if we're forced to choose a lesser of two evils, what makes Trump a lesser choice than Biden? Maybe Trump is the best choice compared to those two. If that's all we got.
I just think he's all about himself, making money for his family.
What leader, what president that's in this nation's history that you can think of that wasn't all about himself? Isn't most politicians kind of narcissistic to some degree?
Yeah, but not while in office.
You don't think so? You don't think that George W. Bush was trying to avenge his father's assassination attempt? Many folks believe that while in office, these folks are narcissists.
Right, it's just a bunch of conspiracy theories.
Okay, so I'm trying to see then. I'm not hearing much. So is it possible that if we do get a second coming of Trump, we could get a strong economy and a strong nation, maybe get some of these global affairs under control and actually get back on course? I mean, maybe it won't be that bad.
Maybe not, but the only thing I'm worried about is him not leaving.
Okay, so what if we could get Trump in office and there was no worry of him trying to overstay his welcome? Would you be willing to come around then?
I wouldn't have a choice. Once he's my president, he's my president.
Okay, but if you could be assured, and I know this may be a stretch, but let's just say for shits and giggles, you could be assured that he wasn't going to overstay his welcome, would you then consider maybe voting for him?
No.
Why not?
I've never liked him, never liked him since a long time ago. He used to be a Democrat.
Yeah. Is it the personality you can't get over? I mean, were you really insulted by $2 gas, 3.5% jobs numbers, a good economy?
Well, gas is right now in Minnesota. I'm only paying $2.60 right now for gasoline, and our unemployment's on just around 3%.
But was it $2.60 when Trump was in office?
Yeah.
You telling me the price of fuel you're paying in Minnesota right now is the same you were paying during the early part of Trump's administration before the pandemic?
I can't remember. It's pretty close. I mean, even during Obama, it went down to $2 at one point.
What about your grocery bill? How's that in Minnesota?
High.
All right. What was it like during Trump?
Still high, but not as high as it is now.
What about your interest rates on home loans, on car loans? What is that like in Minnesota?
High right now, but we got in when Obama was in office and it was low, so we only have like a 2.75 interest rate.
Right, but during Trump, it was lower than it is now, correct?
Yes.
So what would be so wrong with bringing the man back?
I don't know. I don't like him, so.
All right, I can't change that. Hey, listen, I can't change who you favor and who you don't. You don't like him, even though you're admitting that some of his economic numbers were not that bad. But if you don't like the guy, there's nothing can be done about that. All right, Courtney, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And listen, folks, a lot of us vote for that very same reason that Courtney said. I just don't like you. Doesn't have anything to do with how you run the country. I just don't like you as a person. A lot of folks do operate that way. So we're asking that question. Dude, are you serious about bringing them back? Today's program, I repeat, Devil's Advocate goes MAGA. That's the title of the program. Slow news day. So I want to take the stance of what if a liberal woke up and decided that maybe Trump is better for the country than President Biden. Maybe from an economic standpoint, maybe they don't want to buy an electric car or something like that. So I'm going to take the other side and do a devil's advocate goes MAGA today to see. I want to be convinced. If I step on the other side, I want to be convinced Trump is the wrong guy for the country or you did the right thing. I'm going to hear this from both sides. You know the program is always will be MAGA friendly. But today is a slow news day. I understand a hell of a lot of folks are not familiar seeing me in this role. I get it. I'm taking the role simply because it's a slow news day. We could talk about Hunter Biden taking on Congress right now. Or we could talk about Rudolph Giuliani and how much money he's going to fork over to Ruby Freeman and company. But we're going to try something different today. So that's the purpose of this. Wow, 12 folks. All right, we're going to go back to the box real quick. Democrats and Republicans, it's all about who can get the job done. And what if Trump can get the job done better than Biden? Where should you go? Mean tweets with $1.98 gallon of gas and 40% less on food prices and low interest rates. Can you get an amen for the folks on the right? Hat and mustache, some type of shit. Get the program going. Where are the MAGA folks? We're going to go straight to the box. We'll go to Modern Ragnar. What if Trump was reelected? Would the nation, would America be so bad off? Good afternoon, Ragnar.
What's going on, man? I've never seen you take this. I've never seen this. I've seen you debate many of my friends, LJ, all them. And I've never seen this take. So
it's a slow news day. It's a slow news day. Thank you, sunshine.
How long have you been on this live with this hat next to you?
Oh, I don't know, a year and some months, year and a half.
And are you for Trump, or is this your devil's advocate? Is this
devil's advocate goes MAGA? We're gonna leave it at that. Take your time. Take your time.
Well, I'm so confused right now. You're throwing me under the. Okay, so
you sound like my ex-wife on the first date, but keep going.
Has anyone convinced you otherwise?
Devil's advocate goes MAGA. That's what I'm gonna leave it at. Okay. We're gonna leave it at that. Like I said, I've simply it's a slow news day, so we're taking a different stance. Maybe you can tune in tomorrow or a day down the line, and who knows, you might get your answer. But right now, devil's advocate goes MAGA.
The way I feel, is if he isn't fought, if when he becomes president again, that's my stance.
Okay.
President of the United States once again. If he isn't fought the entire way, I'm sure he'll get things done like he did before. Even though he was fought along the whole entire way, he still got things done. He still went through with a lot of his promises that he wasn't fought against. I believe that...
You're saying promises made, promises kept. Let me interrupt you by just simply say he will be fought the whole way. That's the likelihood of that not happening is virtually zero.
And the way I see it is, I didn't like Trump till the last year of his presidency because I listened to other people instead of doing my own research, looking up the bills that were passed, looking up things that he was helping with the economic crisis that we had going on, right? And I looked at everything and I was like, wow, how did I not look up this information for myself rather than listen to everybody else that gave their own opinions, and I listened to it because he wasn't a career politician. What we need right now is someone who is not a career politician, because a career politician is only there to help the government, succeed and keep control. Someone who is actually a free thinker and a critical thinker that was actually for the American people. That's exactly why the Republican Party and the Democratic Party both went against him. And I believe that we need someone like that in office.
Yeah. But how can he be effective? He's going to need a team. So, I mean, is it possible he could replace everybody? Because, I mean, obviously, when you talk about him not being a career politician, and clearly when he came in, he certainly was not, you're surrounded by a cast of, career politicians, the Senate, Congress. What can he do to get them to work with him? So he's a non-typical politician, literally surrounded by typical politicians. You think he could get it done again?
Absolutely, he can get it done again. It's going to be a hard step for him if he does become president, because I think he's a better option than Vivek, because Vivek is doing all of Obama's speeches, a failed promise to the American people. I think he's the best candidate we have right now, to be honest.
All right. Well, we do need the global affairs that are taking place, whether it's Israel against everybody, Ukraine against Russia. We do need some of this stuff to get under control. And with President Biden, he's digging us deeper in. So perhaps in terms of getting rid of these global affairs, you may be on board with the right guy.
Absolutely. And this is the first conversation I had with too much respect, brother. Much you get someone else up in here. Someone might have some controversial opinion, but much love to you. I'll be watching. I see the America great, the handsome liberal with the make America great.
All right. All right. Appreciate you coming in. Definitely appreciate you coming in. All right. Moving. Hey, thanks. Moving on. Devil's advocate goes MAGA. We're looking in the comments, at least 9 or 10 campaign promises that Trump made that he didn't keep. What if the reason Trump was not able to keep his policy, such as he's going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it, was because there was so much liberal interference, perhaps dodging constant impeachments, constant investigations? Is it possible that some of that may have led to Trump not being able to fulfill his policies? Remember, Obama wanted to give us affordable health care. The only reason he didn't succeed was Republican interference. So perhaps Trump was going to deliver on those 9 out of 10 campaign promises that you're talking about. But maybe he faced constant opposition, making his job more difficult from petty liberals trying to block his way. Looking in the comments, time Trump take your security away from. Honeymoon, I don't quite get what you're saying there. Stop the pandering, says Hot Sauce. Who the hell am I pandering to with a name like the handsome liberal in the program running today? Never been accused of pandering, but appreciate the input. Trump doesn't give a shit about you, says Chrissy, as if there is a politician that does. Give me a politician that would look at me and say, I give a shit about that individual, and I could feel confident that they were not looking me in the face and telling a bold-faced lie. Give me one. I'd love to hear it. Looking in the comments, Trump, not a career politician and does not bow to lobbyists. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, that's true. I absolutely agree with that. Trump does not bow to anyone. It's caused him a lot of problems in some cases. It's actually allowed him to be quite successful, at least with MAGA. So I don't disagree. Trump does not bow. He doesn't even bow to judges. Certainly agree with that comment. He stepped right over you, says Gina. Yeah, perhaps if Trump saw me, he might step right over me. Then again, maybe if I was standing on a corner in Georgia and Trump was driving down the road, he might get out of the car and come walk up to me and take a photo with me like he did with that African-American woman and her friend in Georgia that was posted all over social media. Devil's advocate goes MAGA. Keep it going. Going in the box. Going to the box. Stick Darula. Appreciate you folks tuning in. Tap the screen on this highly unusual live. Get your boy up to 25,000. Stick. Holla at your boy.
What's going on, handsome? I mean, the last guy, like, I was kind of confused with what he was asking. I was kind of confused.
He wasn't asking. He was.
Now I get it.
He was not asking. He was celebrating the accomplishments of Trump.
Oh, no. I'm talking about with you.
Okay.
I didn't understand why he didn't understand what was going on.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
But I get it now that he's a MAGA supporter. So yeah, he was a little confused at what he had going on. He didn't understand that is the beacon that brings MAGA in to say some of these silly things. But,
what is MAGA saying that's silly? Let's go with that. Give me something silly that MAGA says.
Okay, JFK's nephew. He's coming back. He's going to be the leader. JFK's nephew or son, no, it was the son that's coming back. The nephew, they're going to vote for him, even though he's supposed to be a Democrat. So it's a lot of stuff I can see, the confusion. You know.
Well, listen, let me make it clear. That's the extreme part of the party. Just like liberals, you got folks out here that are supporting Hamas and can't even say if calling for the execution of Jews is wrong at a lot of liberal universities. So you got extremists on both sides of the aisle.
And I would agree. Hold on just 1 second. I would agree with what you just said, that there's extremists on both sides of the aisle, but
it just seems like to me that when they get together, somehow, some way, it doesn't matter what Trump says, it doesn't matter what Trump does, it's okay, and or they make an excuse for him.
Well, did we not make, did folks on the left not make an excuse for all of the folks that were incarcerated with President Biden in that crime bill in 94?
I wouldn't say it was an excuse. I would say that the judicial system itself did a lot of people wrong. Not so much that the way Joe Biden wrote it up, but they took the way he wrote it up and made it their way, and a lot of people had paid for it in the sense of, even though they committed a crime, they got over sentenced.
Yeah. Well, how about him indicating that an African American is not even worthy of his own heritage if he doesn't vote for him? If you're not black, if you don't vote for me, you're not even black. How the hell are you going to take away my ethnicity simply because I don't vote for you?
Well, I'll say it just like this. I think that he probably overspoke being a white tea person.
You're making excuses. Remember, you talked about making excuses. You're doing it now.
No, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm telling you exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as a white tea person, it came out of his mouth. I'm black. He came out and he said it, but it wasn't one of those where I took offense to it. And the reason is because if you vote for Trump and you're of the African American persuasion, my friend, you're voting against your best interest. So at the end of the day, in my bones, it tells me everything that he said in the sense of Joe Biden was actually true. But where he messed up at, he's a white tea man. You can't tell a person of melanated skin who they are and what they are.
Okay. So I guess go ahead.
Listen, what I'm saying is the difference between me and a MAGA supporter or a Trump supporter is, I can tell Trump, or Biden, I'm sorry, I can tell Biden that he was wrong. They won't come out and say that he was wrong. You got some to say, I don't like his mouth, or yeah, he's an asshole, but that's about it. They won't go further than that.
When you say voting for Trump as an African American is voting against your own best interest, was a good economy, even in the hood, really bad for black people? I mean, the economy for African Americans under Trump, the jobs numbers were very good. Is that really that bad for black people?
I will say it just like this. with the economy, you already know how it's gonna go. When it comes to Trump and when he came in and how the economy was. The economy was booming. It was on its way up. He just didn't touch anything. He just didn't mess it up. For the first time in his life, at that time, we weren't going bankrupt like his businesses. So, not so much, I'm just being honest. And so it's not so much that he did something wrong with the economy. It's just that really the economy that he inherited, and he did not, in a sense of making up policies that would destroy the economy. He did not do that. What happened was, and we all know, and I don't have to keep going over it, was, COVID came, and the plan that he had that was left for him, he got rid of it.
Well, one of the plans that Trump had is that if I didn't want to put a foreign substance in my body, such as, the jab, at least he gave me the right as an African American to decide what I wanted in my body, whereas the liberals were trying to force this untested snake oil on me. Do you not give him credit for at least giving us freedom?
It's not so much I give him credit for freedom because that's already in the books. Just as well as he inherited a good economy, he inherited the United States Constitution.
But wait a minute, you're not giving him credit for giving us freedom that Biden would have taken away. Biden would not have given us that same freedom to decide.
No, I don't believe that. I just believe Biden was going with what his good advisors was telling him, which was
take away our freedom.
This is no. I don't hear taking away the freedom. What I hear is, look, If you want your granddad, if you want your grandma to be okay, take responsibility. Go get your jab, and it's not gonna cure the crisis that we have going on, but what it will do is protect you and your loved ones. So it's either take the jab and know that you tried your best to protect your loved ones, or go around your loved ones, hug and kiss on them, and then end up like Herman Cain.
All right, Stick. You survived. Appreciate your company. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Good talk.
Yes, sir.
Absolute. And as you guys know, some of you folks may be a tad confused. Devil's Advocate Goes MAGA. That is the title of this program today. Talk to a few relatives, some minorities, and asked, what would be so wrong with President Trump coming back? They talked about the economy and things like that. So today I'm going to take upon that role. I want some of my liberal viewers, the program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. However, today we're inviting some liberals to come up as well. Tell me what would be so bad if President Trump, number 45, became 47. Because there's a hell of a lot of people that are not happy with 46. So today we're taking it from a different standpoint. Understand that. Devil's Advocate Goes MAGA. Looking in the comments, briefly, even Chicago hates the Dems, says Dad IP. I gotta disagree with that for the simple fact that as a Chicago native, born and raised in Chicago, lived there 30 plus years of my life, most of the leadership in Chicago, talking about the mayors, the political, the politicians in that city have been Democrat. They love Democrats. They may not like the current environment, certainly with all these immigrants taking up all the resources and things like that, thanks to the likes of Abbott, the likes of DeSantis, Joker. Thank you. Appreciate that generosity, Joker. I don't expect to get a lot of gifts on a program like this, but damn it, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm always about free speech. So today we're going to play devil's advocate. We're going to take it from the other side. What's so much wrong with a second coming of Trump? So I do appreciate that. What did that just pop up there? Courtney. And that was a good conversation. Courtney, thank you. Going to the box. Motherfucking Adam. Appreciate you tuning in. Motherfucking Adam, if it'll let me. I may have some problems with the box. Today we're taking, appreciate that. And Tammy, thank you, Tammy. Motherfucking Adam, good afternoon. What's wrong with Trump? What's wrong with Trump coming back? Tell me why America wouldn't be great again.
I don't know. Ain't nothing wrong with Trump coming back. But when you come back to it, you talk about Biden, with they call Trump racist, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you ain't black if you don't vote for Biden, right?
He said that. That's what he said.
Okay. So also he said we don't need any more big shot N-words
Preach.
in Congress.
You take the flow. Keep it going. Keep it going. Serve it up.
That may have been 20 years ago. But still, what the fuck, man? I mean,
because you're pointing out things that has come from Biden. We know he had affiliation with Senator Byrd from the KKK and things like. I don't know, why is it that more folks don't call Biden out on some of his actual past?
Because they don't like Trump.
Yeah.
That's why. The only thing is that they voting against whatever the lesser evil they have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
is it safe to say that Trump would probably be a better commander-in-chief going forward than Biden?
I'd say so, myself.
All right. I don't think, for the
reason why I say that, because, there's strength in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where the fuck is Kamala Harris at? It's like, where in the world is Congressman San Diego?
Well, let's just be clear. Whatever the liberals are doing with Kamala Harris, as long as they don't hang her, what's going to happen with Mike Pence. So let's just keep her alive. Well, let me ask this.
DeSantis too, man. I can't deal with DeSantis. I live in Florida, but man, DeSantis is digging his own hole.
What is he? Yeah, let me ask that. Let me ask you that, because obviously this time last year, Ron DeSantis was a gubernatorial hero in Florida. Give me some of the things he's done to fall out of favor with you Floridians. That lean right, by the way.
I mean, I think he presses too hard on certain things. I mean, honestly, I got my own qualms with Disney, but I mean, I think Disney employs a lot of people, man. A lot, like 50,000 or more people. And whatever problem he had with Disney, I think he just should have thought about it and not did all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's messing with the money. In other words, he's messing with the money.
He's messing with the Florida economy.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
100%, man. I mean, when you're looking 50, losing 50,000 jobs, because Disney talking about going to like California or going to Ohio or something, right?
Yeah, they're gonna end up in a liberal state if he keeps it up.
Yeah. So that's 50,000 jobs. Yeah, we got 22 million people here in Florida. You know what I'm saying?
So how do we? I want to ask you something that's
most of these motherfuckers is retired here. So
let me ask you something that's a bit more difficult, because this is something I also heard from an individual that's certainly going to vote for President Trump, and he talked about his anger at the women's vote going left. If we're on the right, what can we do to get the women's vote? Certainly with the rolling back of Roe v. Wade and things like that. I mean, they're hemorrhaging women's votes because of this. What can be done to?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, but is there any effort that can be made? Because you got to understand that locking women up for abortion and things like that it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, that's wrong. What was that lady in Texas?
Kate Cox. Kate Cox.
Yeah. She got something going on. Yeah, this is huge, man. I mean, I'm not a right winger necessarily, but I try to, put my attention to what needs attended to. I guess if you want to call it that, but. I mean, the lady's got something going on with her body. She already had 2 cesarean sections.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and now this is maybe a 3rd one, and the kid, the child, baby, whatever you want to call it, got problems already. So, yeah, man, it's hard, man. It's real different, man. I mean, Yeah.
Well, all right then. I don't think for the sake of the program, I don't see where we totally disagree on anything. Because certainly the women's vote, that's going to be a problem though. Because we know women are becoming more educated. They're getting more and more involved in politics more than ever before, and they're going to make a difference. And if anybody doesn't pay attention to the women's vote, they're taking a risk. I mean, ignore the women's vote at your own risk.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's going to be hard for the Republicans to get that back. Well, especially in Florida. I can only talk for Florida, man. I don't know.
Well, you don't think Florida's going to go blue or even purple in the near future, do you? A lot of states, when the people are migrating in, it's usually from a few states. Where are they coming from in Florida?
Cali's mostly going to Texas, I believe. But we have what they call snowbirds here, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the snowbirds from up north are moving down here, and most of them are blue anyway.
Yeah.
You know that is true. So yeah, I mean it's changing, man. Everything is changing. I don't know if it's a plan or what, but everything's changing, brother.
Well, if Ron DeSantis doesn't secure Florida, it's over, because that's a lot of electoral votes there. I mean, Georgia is already deep turning purple. If Florida goes along with it, then it's over.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right, motherfucking Adam.
Show, man. It's always nice to talk to you, man. I love all you guys. Let's make it happen, man. Let's get together and do the damn thing, all right?
11 months. A little bit less than 11 months now.
We got to do this thing. Love you, brother.
Absolute. Good talk. Looking in the comments, what happened to all the problems under Trump? Offshore drilling, the pipeline, the immigrant overflow. Well, some of those problems got so bad under Biden that people are not talking about them under Trump. You talk about what happened to the problems under Trump, and then you go on and mention offshore drilling. You look at the price of fuel, what happened when Biden got in office. I get that prices have come down now, but folks still have sticker shock because the entire Biden administration has saw fuel prices skyrocket and they're just coming down. So they're not going to work. They're not going to go back to Trump's, you talk about offshore drilling when they're just getting overpaying $4 for gas in a hell of a lot of places. And when you talk about the immigrant overflow, you want to talk about the immigrant problem under Trump with what is going on now, where even states and cities up north are having immigrant issues? I think what happened under Trump, immigration-wise, is long forgotten because of what's going on under Biden. But I hear your point. Looking in the comments, prices are coming down so Biden can say, look what I did for you. Why didn't you get them down sooner is what folks are going to say. Is it possible that now it's time to have an election? So maybe you're playing switcheroo to bring the prices down real quick because you only got 11 months left before we got to vote? Devil's Advocate goes MAGA. That's the name of the program today. I appreciate you folks tapping the screen. Get your boy up to 40,000 likes. It's a slow news day, so we're taking a stance. What if a liberal woke up and decided to vote right? Devil's Advocate goes MAGA. Looking in the box, we'll keep it moving. We'll go straight to Kareem the Dream. I appreciate you holding on, Kareem. What would be so bad in regards to a second coming of President Trump? Kareem, talk to me. Good afternoon.
Roe versus Wade. You rolled it back and you tried to kill this woman. That's what you did.
What about the life of the unborn, though? Do you want women just...
No, Tim. Tim.
I'm listening.
Let's stop right there with all of that.
I'm listening.
You think women are going to actually go into those voting booths and vote for this? Y'all tried to kill this woman.
Yeah.
You tried to kill her.
But what about all the...
You tried to unalive this woman, Tim.
Kareem, what about all the babies that are being saved, though? You're talking about one woman. What about all the unborn lives that are being saved now?
Tim, let's not talk about any other thing right now. The election swung back to the Democrats because of this one thing. They tried to unalive this woman.
I'm not
What human being is going? If you got a daughter, that caller that came on earlier, those two callers that came on earlier talking about Trump is the right thing, those men don't have daughters.
But when you say they tried to take her life, she proved you wrong by just simply going to another state and having the procedure done. It's just states' rights.
It's a woman that can't, Tim. Everybody don't have that opportunity. I'm married to a white woman whose best friend is married to a man that got a plane. So if my wife's daughter needs that operation, we can put her on that plane and go and get it done. But my cousin, no, she can't go get that done, Tim. Not in East Texas, Jacksonville, Texas. No, she can't go get that done, Tim. They tried to unalive a woman, Tim.
But what about...
hold on. The election got evened out a little bit with the war over there with the Palestinian Iran war, whatever war that is. It got evened out a little bit. But it now just swung back to the Dems. Ain't no way that women are going to see this and say, yes, I'm going to go in there and vote for this party here that says my daughter can take a chance of being unalived.
But what about all of the... But you got it. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hang on. Kareem.
They don't care about their economy. They care about their kids, Tim.
Kareem,
they tried to unalive this woman.
Kareem, we're not.
Done,
Kareem,
you got it, Tim.
Kareem.
I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
All right.
Nothing else, Tim. They tried to unalive her, bro.
Okay. All right. If you got nothing else to say, we'll move it on. All right. Listen, I do want to point out what happened to Kate Cox is horrible. Doesn't matter what side of the damn aisle you're on. If you're not outraged like my last caller in regards to them trying to literally force this woman to have a baby up to and including what could have been her own detriment, it's worth bringing up. But what I was trying to get across to my last caller is that everybody is not a single issue voter. I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm not worried about going through what Kate Cox went through. I understand it sounds insensitive as hell to say that that doesn't affect me. But being honest, being candid, being open. That's how we vote, folks. That is how we vote. People vote based on what their actual perception of reality is, which is why you have the cities that are hardcore in favor of common sense gun legislation. And the rural areas are not, because they're not dealing with a bunch of, folks losing their lives in crazy gun violence in rural areas. It's happening in the city. So people have a difference of opinion as to why they vote. Perception is reality. So while I don't disagree with my last caller, and I totally understand his passion based on that issue, other folks are pissed off that they got to buy an electric car, or that they are losing potentially gun rights and other issues in other areas. Everybody votes based on what's important to them. What happened to Kate Cox is not going to ever affect me, as awful as it was. Looking in the box, Trump, somebody asked me a question. Let me correct that. And I'm always willing to concede a point when I think I said something that is not correct. The individual doesn't have a name, so I can't give him credit under his name, but user 1233 says, do you not have women in your life? That's true. And I have a daughter that could be affected by that. So let me correct that. My daughter could end up in the same situation Kate Cox is. She's not even as old as Kate Cox. So definitely corrected there. But right now it's not affecting me. That's a good point though. Looking in the comments. Okay, this must be a joke. Your username is Handsome Liberal, says Sari. Appreciate it. You must be a new viewer to the program. This program is titled Devil's Advocate Goes MAGA. In other words, liberal waking up and being asked, what would be so bad if Trump was reelected? Why do liberals hate him so much? Devil's Advocate Goes MAGA. That should explain it. Going back to the box. What's so bad about a second coming of Trump? JC, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Tap the screen, folks. Get your boy up to 50,000 likes. It's a difficult type program. I get it. JC, Trump again. What's wrong?
Everything. So, just, everything.
Oh my God.
Really, no, the sight of him actually just gives me the icks big time. He's just.
What about the sight? What about the sight of an affordable grocery bill? Does that make you go,
So let me tell you who y'all need to direct your icks to.
Okay.
People who are charging those prices. Biden doesn't set those prices.
Why didn't they charge him under Trump? They didn't do it when he was in office.
Yeah, but that's because what they did was because of capitalism during COVID, we were basically fucked. Okay. And then supply chain was totally also fucked. And then I'm sure initially, yeah, the supply chain was the reason why things were more expensive. But then all these damn companies, Purdue and whatever, all these damn companies decided like, oh shit, we're making hella money. People are still spending all their money. Like, hold on. Why don't we go with this? Let's keep going with this. They're the ones that made eggs $9. They're the ones that made bacon $19.
So who do you think?
The prices, not the president.
So who do you think is making all of these immigrants flood all of these cities all over the country, taking up resources, making it harder for regular folks to get around? You don't think Biden has any responsibility for what's going on at the border either?
So the border's not open, for one. For two, Biden's numbers on the border are better than Trump's.
In what way? In what way?
Wait, hold on. Three, minority, okay, immigrants, they don't bother me. Everybody here, except for Native Americans, are technically immigrants. We're not from here. We're black. I'm black, you black. Our family is not from Turtle Island or North America. We're not. So, and the lines that are drawn that outline countries, human beings drew those. Somebody just said, hey, this is mine, this is yours, and that's that. So if people want to cross over a border I feel like they have every right to do so, even if they're coming here fleeing from a country.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's probably our damn fault anyway.
JC, wait a minute. You're saying that anybody that wants to come here should be allowed to come here?
Yeah, if they need to.
How do you know there's, how do you even,
or if they want to be,
JC, how do you even know the person coming is safe to let in?
I mean, don't they have to go through checks when they start?
No, they're not going through checks.
They have millions of encounters with these people.
Wait.
These people get logged in a system. I'm sure shitty people slip through, but I mean, I'm not really worried about them. We got enough shitty people here.
So you just add on to the problem? When I say no, they don't go through checks and balances.
Sure.
Then how can you possibly feel safe if you, I mean, if I'm a terrorist, for instance.
This is a world. This is a planet. Like, we're just people on a planet. If bad people come here, it doesn't matter if they could lie on their application anyway. If they come over here and they say, oh, I'm a good person, and they have like a fake ID or whatever, they're still going to get through and they're still going to be able to live their life here in America, whether they're a fraud or whether they're right?
No, you're further.
Yeah.
You are further left than you probably. No border. Just anybody can come here.
No. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, you kind of are. Okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Clear it up for me. Clear it up.
What I'm saying is that the border is necessary.
Why?
Checks and balances at the border are necessary. Just because. Because you don't want bad people coming, right? You don't want people coming. You don't want
JC, here's what I'm talking about. How do you perform a checks and balance on somebody coming from a country like Venezuela where they don't even have a government to do so? There is no checks and balance.
But that's my whole point. That's my whole point.
So just let them in.
Like, no. I'm saying it doesn't. So if somebody comes over from Venezuela and there's no way to check to see whether or not they're a bad person, America does some sort of check and balance, right?
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Just like when I go to Canada, right? There's a border in Canada. The damn Border Patrol in Canada was going crazy on me because anyway, it doesn't matter. But they want to know why I'm coming there. They can check my background because we're America and they're Canada. But if I had some fake ass ID, fake passport, fake whatever, I still could be a sinister person intending to do harm in Canada. They would have no idea whether I went through the proper process or not.
So then, according to you, then if a person, since anybody can fake an ID, then just let anybody in? I don't get your point.
Just let anybody in. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, people are going to come from other places. I just don't think it's, to me, that's how everybody got here in the first place. If people are coming over here, quote unquote, as undocumented immigrants, right, and they're trying to stay here, whether they're criminal or not, there's only so much you can do to stop it, for one. And then,
how about a wall? How about building a wall to stop it?
They're bad, period.
How about building a wall and actually putting some armed men on the border? You support any of that?
I'm sorry, isn't there already a wall?
No, it's not being properly taken care of. It's not being properly maintained.
There's somebody else on this app that literally went down there to the damn wall.
Okay. Let me respond to something. Okay.
Coming across, but they're not.
Let me respond to something you said. And by the way, I'm one of those people that went down there. I went down there to Laredo and sat on the Rio Grande and talked to 5 border agents while Trump was in office. They were all Hispanics, at least by their last name, and they all were supporting Trump. And that's real. I actually went down there and done it. But what I want to say though is, when you talk about how you went to Canada and they checked your background, I moved to Australia. So I know what it's like to go through the background check, but it works when you have a nation you can call. Like I had to take fingerprints. I had to show my record from the city of Chicago, Cook County. I had to run my record on the state of Illinois. Then I had to go through the federal government, so I had no federal warrants or record. And I had to run through Interpol, international. It works. It works when there is a government to call. If you're coming from Venezuela, they don't have an FBI. They don't have a city of Chicago or a Cook County. There's no way to check these people.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. they're still going to come. That's what I'm saying. You can't really
let them in.
Just like my. So you're saying that if they came to the border, they're like, okay, here's my whatever. I'm from Venezuela. You're saying that they, you know, I guess. Are you saying they came over, like, let's say, underground tunnel, or got found?
I'm saying
they went through a border.
They oftentimes they either get smuggled in or they come in and cross the river. And if you're coming from Venezuela, you're not going to be able to come legally right now. I don't believe you can come really legally much at all, or other than claiming asylum. But otherwise, they're coming anywhere they can get in, and there's no way to perform a background check on them.
But I guess the same thing happens, like, on planes, because I live in a neighborhood. I live in Portland, or outside of Portland, and most of my neighborhood is either Russian or Ukrainian.
They can afford plane tickets. These Venezuelans can't afford plane tickets.
Yeah, I know, but see, that's the other problem that I find is that every time we talk about immigration, we only talking about the brown people. I've literally had my neighbors tell me, like, oh, we're going up to Canada to get 10 of my family members who now are living it down the street in the house with my neighbor, and they're intending on staying here.
Yeah. You know something, I don't disagree with you about the brown people coming, but I will say this: when you got, 50 times more brown people than you do others, they're going to get more of the conversation. And most of them are coming. Most of them are coming from a distraught standpoint, where the other side kind of have their own way where they can work and take care of themselves. So you're going to get more complaints.
There's just a line drawn in the sand, of course, and they live in a country that, I mean, in a lot of ways, probably is not doing well, where they fear for their life.
I don't disagree with that. All right. I appreciate you coming on, JC. We definitely differ on the border, but I appreciate you coming on. Absolute. Maybe talk to you later. Moving on in the comments. Cubs 1952. What about 2016? The Cubs won in 2016. Shout out to them. It was wild. States, you're the handsome conservative. Well, today, like I said, it's a slow news day. I do appreciate you folks tapping the screen. Get your boy up to around 50,000. 1,100 of you in here, hell of a lot of you in here to see the liberal playing devil's advocate today. Slow news day. So I want to take this on from a standpoint of what would be so wrong if Trump was reelected. I've had some liberals, minorities ask me, are you really that happy with Biden? You really that happy with his economy, what you're paying at the grocery store? What would be so wrong if Trump was reelected? So today you get the devil's advocate goes MAGA. Looking in the box, we'll keep it moving with Duke Vader returns. Okay, fair enough. What's wrong with number 45 becoming 47? Duke.
Boy, that last color was something else.
Explain.
I'm literally sitting here in Texas, and she's like flip-flopping. One minute she wants security, she wants to stop the bad people. Next minute she don't care who comes through. She has no clue about how there's not a country in the world you can just walk into. Yeah. There's just not a country in the world except the United States. Yeah. You travel anywhere to any other country, if you don't have the proper documents to get into that country, they're going to turn your ass around. They're going to put you on a plane and send you back. Matter of fact, she didn't address why they didn't let them Haitians in. She was cool with everybody just walking in, but when the United States turned them Haitians around, everybody thought that was cool.
C. Osby, thank you. Keep going. I was thanking someone for the confetti. Thank you. But, a country without borders, is that even a country at all?
No, man, there's not a country. I'm ex-military.
Thank you for your service.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me turn my camera on so that you know who I am. You know who I am.
Yep. We've talked many times.
I'm ex-military. Yeah. So,
thank you.
These big headphones I got on. Hope they're not picking up too much.
You got some background, but I can hear you just fine. So, let me ask you.
To answer your question,
go ahead.
To answer your question, I'm a Trump supporter. Okay. I've stomached 4 years of Joe Biden. Now, I don't care if he doesn't control egg prices or not. I don't care. It's under his watch.
Yeah.
Whoever the president is that's sitting in office, when it's under his watch, then he gets the blame.
Yeah.
Or he gets the victory. It doesn't matter if he caused it or not. Okay, right now there's 2 wars going on under Joe Biden. Okay, Joe Biden didn't start them. He's not participating in them, but they're under his watch.
Yep.
He gets that. All that money that he's sending to Ukraine. Right now he's talking to Zelensky, because Zelensky is talking about, hey, all the focus is on Israel. Can you please focus on me again? I want some cut too. So him sending money abroad is not resonating. Now I'm in Texas. We just got
what city you in down there? What city? How far? You're not on the border anywhere. What city you in?
I'm in the great city of Houston, Texas, a sanctuary city.
Okay.
A sanctuary city.
Okay.
We just got through voting out Sheila Jackson Lee and sending her back to Congress because she wanted to be mayor.
Yeah, you guys got a pretty tough mayor in there, a tough on crime guy, right?
We need it because our crime is out the roof.
Yeah.
Our crime is out the roof. We just had 2 17-year-olds unalived here in Houston. One color, one of the other color, and our crime is out the roof. Okay, so we need somebody. We don't need no more appeasement Democrats.
Is he Republican?
On crime. He's Democrat.
Oh. Okay. All right. I've heard about him. I've seen him out there. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know if the mayor can do that, but you can be tough on crime, but I don't know if you can bring crime down. I believe the war on drugs showed that being tough on crime alone doesn't always work.
We're not talking about war on drugs. We're talking about tough on crime. Okay, just like New York was tough on crime, and they brought their crime under control. But let's deal with this lady who tried to get her unborn child. Yes, hold on. Oh, okay, I'm returning. Okay, my bad. Thank you. This lady who tried to get it. For one thing, she brought herself into the limelight. That's what she did. She didn't have to go. Listen to me, liberal. She did not have to bring this to court. She knows the laws of Texas. You can't get that here in Texas. Only thing she had to do was do what she's doing now, go to another state, and get her procedure performed. She's just like this cake maker who didn't want to perform a cake for a certain group of people. They didn't. Instead of going to another cake maker who would, they brought it to the courts. They tried to change the laws in that state. She tried to change the laws in Texas.
Yeah. But how do you respond to folks that point out that being so tough on abortion is causing the right to lose women's votes?
Let me tell you something, okay? Women are passionate about that issue. Like you said, I'm 60. It doesn't affect me. I have daughters. If it affects my daughters, when we cross that road, we know what to do. The majority of minorities are conservative. Okay, majority of minorities, there's conservative. This is not the number one issue on the ticket when it comes to voting for the next president. The number one issue on the ticket is, first of all, border, crime, and foreign issue. They're tired of sending money over to countries that don't like us. Remember, Ukraine in the 80s hated the United States. People don't remember that. And we sending all this money over to other countries that don't like us. Infrastructure, gas prices and food prices. All the way down the list is the issue with
abortion.
We're not worried about that when we go to the booth. A handful of women may, but women need to worry about other stuff too. But
All right. Okay. Well, listen, Duke. I do unfortunately got to move it. Your background noise, folks are saying they can't hear it because you got a loud background. But anytime, man, anytime.
Anytime, bro.
All right. I did have to shorten the call with my last caller because he did have a loud background, and I seen a lot of you folks were in the comments saying that you couldn't hear me, which is why I gave him plenty of time to speak so that he could get his point out. Now I will answer some of it. Devil's advocate plays MAGA, so we'll just leave it like that. But I will say I slightly disagree that he gave the line of what's important to the voters, and he kind of listed it out as border crime, foreign money going overseas, and then abortion is way at the bottom. I think that it depends on how draconian the experiences are of some of these women. And what happened with Kate Cox in Texas is pretty draconian, where listen, make no mistake about it, the liberals are going to play politics with this, just like the right plays politics on issues that concern them. So they're going to bring about the worst pro-life cases they can find. Kate Cox's case is a prime example of that, where the woman is potentially facing, her own life being in jeopardy, and they're still pushing her to have the baby. Same thing with the kid in Ohio, where the child was abused by a family member at age 10, and impregnated and had to drive over to Indiana, or the African-American woman that was that was pregnant with a baby that didn't have a skull, and they were trying to force her to carry the baby to term. So, and by the way, Crystal, always a pleasure. Thank you, Crystal. Never disappoint. Thank you. So I don't think that the abortion issue, just being honest, regardless of what side of the aisle you may be on, and even as a individual devil's advocate playing MAGA, I will just say this: it's probably more serious than my last caller stated. I think the women's vote is going to be more focused on what they're doing with abortion than the border and foreign money going overseas and things like that. And I've said before that I believe giving money to the Ukraine or sending help to Israel, when that money could be used in the United States, that message would be more valuable if you could show where that money would go if it wasn't going to the Ukraine. And before I went on the devil's advocate side, I asked you folks in the comments, I gave the scenario. Let's assume the Ukrainians were able to push off the Russians, maintain their sovereignty, got their import-export market back on track, and was able to pay the United States every penny we have sent them in military aid and assistance. I asked, if the Ukraine gave us all of our money back, as a voting, tax-paying American, do you think your life would be better, or would you benefit at all in any way you can think of? And most folks said no. So I think that's where the problem is that folks are saying we should keep that money at home to look out for ourselves instead of sending it to the Ukrainians, but they can't come up with any way they were benefiting when the money was at home. So I think it really hurts the message. You need to have folks, and this is mainly coming from the right, where you hear folks say, keep the money here instead of sending it overseas. You need to have folks saying, look, if we had that money, I would do this for the homeless, or I would do this for the poor. Give some real examples, something tangible that people can hold on to. But just telling them, well, if we had the money, we could do more for Americans, people are going to ask, like what? What were you doing before the money went overseas? And there's no blank to fill in. That's where the problem is. Going back to the box, devil's advocate, what would happen if Trump was reelected? Why not? That's what we're asking. Well, no Republicans are going to do that, says Eric Hicks. And that's the problem, is a lot of folks don't believe that if you brought the money back home to America, the Republican Party would support any social issues that benefit the poor anyway. A lot of folks do believe that. Going to the box. Live. Oh, I wanted to get it to Keisha. Live talk. All right, fair enough. Live talk. Good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Trump.
You can just use Mishi. You can use Mishi.
All right, Mishi, good to see you again. So Trump, what's so bad about Trump? What would be so wrong if he got reelected?
Gosh, I wrote notes.
Let me have it. Let me have
This
it.
is coming from someone who voted for Trump twice. Okay.
Okay.
So I come from a little different. I'm not a lifelong liberal, right? First of all, we had a man who didn't even want to leave office. Okay, that's a danger in itself.
That hasn't been proven yet. That's allegations from the left.
Okay, allegations from.
He hasn't been convicted of any of that. He survived an impeachment on it.
That's fine. It's fine. So I think human rights above all. I'm not going to go into women's rights again, but when the GOP and Trump wants to take away human rights, when they're banning books, we have twice the amount of maternal death rate in Idaho since abortion has been made illegal. So that's a real problem. The fact that we're gerrymandering people out of their vote, etc. If you want to talk about fiscal conservativeness, Trump added a quarter of our debt. A quarter of our debt he spent. Inflation's down to 3.1%.
Let me slow you. I'll let you continue, but let me start with you because you talked about humanity. You realize that many on the liberal side of the aisle are literally calling for the eradication of the Jewish people. They can't even say that at some of these elite liberal colleges. They can't even say it's wrong.
My kid went to one of those elite colleges. You know as I do, this is a small group of people, and I don't know that they're calling for that. I think what they're calling for is a ceasefire and stopping the unaliving of innocent people on both sides.
Mishi, from the river to the sea is not a call for ceasefire.
It's a call to give them their land back.
From the river to the sea leaves no room for the Israeli people to live. That's calling for the complete eradication of those people.
I don't think so.
What is so you think from the river to the sea means we want to live in concert with the Jewish people?
Okay, so then the Republicans are calling for they're talking about making Gaza glass, which would be the complete nuclearization of Gaza, which would mean unaliving children and families. I'm not
I hear your point, but Mishi, it's only two. Hang on a second. I get your point, but hear me out. It's only 2 months after one of the worst terrorist attacks on the Israeli people. How would we act on, say, what would it be, November 11th, 2001? You don't think we would be feeling the same way if they had came to America, went into Alexandria, Virginia, or D.C. and just started wiping people out on the street? How would us Americans have felt?
Okay, this has been a very long and complicated, drawn out conflict between these countries, okay? When people are like, oh, wouldn't it happen under Trump? Why? Why wouldn't it happen under Trump? This isn't new. This isn't out of the blue. This has been a long time coming, and this happens back and forth. What I don't agree with as a independent liberal Republican is the unaliving of innocent civilians. And both of them are doing it. Both of them.
All right. I can work with the both sides. Keep going. What else you got?
Okay, so what else I got? Okay. He's not respected by world leaders. The only people that he kind of got along with are Putin and Kim. That's not good. We need to make sure that we have a leader that's respected and not laughed on the UN stage like Trump was.
What about the notion that maybe he isn't respected because they know they can't run over the guy?
Absolutely not. They even chuckle about him behind his back, right? There's video and audio on that. They do not like him. They do not respect him. There are plenty of stats out there and research that says they thought that he was a danger. They thought that he was a narcissist and that he wasn't competent at his job.
Whatever they felt about Trump, if as you say, laughing about him behind his back, thinking he's not competent, they weren't starting any wars. Vladimir Putin didn't go into the Ukraine.
Okay, how did Biden start that war? Putin started that war. Hamas started that war. Joe Biden didn't start any wars.
No.
And by the way, the funding to Ukraine has been about 3% of our military budget. 3%. Okay, that's not coming out of any other budget. It's coming out of the military budget. And both Nikki Haley and Chris Christie and Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham all support the funding to Ukraine.
So let me present this to you. In regards to Biden not starting the war, it didn't happen under Trump. Why did it happen under Biden but not under Trump? They just decided to hang out for a minute under Trump?
No, it's because Trump was doing Putin's bidding. Putin was able to manipulate Trump because Trump isn't very bright. He is a good con man, a good salesman. I will give him that. He is a hell of a salesman.
He conned you into voting for him twice. So
exactly. That's why I'm giving him props. Okay.
Right.
So anyway, he was weakening NATO, and he's already said if he gets back in power, he will continue to weaken NATO. That's exactly what Putin wanted.
Weakened.
So
wait. You say he?
If he gets into power, he's going to give a sovereign country to Russia, and they're not.
How did he?
They're going to put back the old USSR. They're going to move on to other neighboring countries.
Well, we
can. And we're letting China know we're weak. We're weak. So
how do you
fucking take Taiwan?
Trump forced the NATO members to do their job, to meet their promise and step up their military as they had promised amongst the agreement. How are we weaker? We're stronger because of Trump, because now they're meeting they're meeting the goals of what they were supposed to contribute to their military. So
he wants to pull us. He's talked about pulling us out of NATO.
Yeah, but
that is horrible for our country. And by the way, what is it if we make a promise to Ukraine that we did with Budapest Memorandum? If we said you give up your nukes, Ukraine, we got your back, and then we don't have their back, what does that say to every other country who's an ally of ours? Can't trust Americans.
I don't disagree with that, but I will tell you this: if you're using the lie we told to the Ukraine just a few decades or maybe a decade or so ago when they broke up the Soviet Union, if you're waiting to that point to hold the United States accountable for lying about promises, we lied to the Native Americans. We've been lying on promises from day one. I mean, that's just another one.
We had someone give up their nuclear weapons because we said, if they invade you, we've got you. Yeah. That's a big promise. And that's why smart Republicans understand why we have to continue to support Ukraine. And again, if we give it to Russia, which will happen probably day one, 24 hours of then Trump coming in, then China is going to be like, they're weak. We can take Taiwan. All right, next, I can't respect a leader, okay, who talks about migrants coming over the border as poisoning the blood of Americans.
How about that being misinterpreted? Let me give you an example. Devil's advocate, remember that. Okay, so you got a lot of places in America. Huh?
I don't like this side of you.
Listen, you got to be able to see things from both sides.
I have plenty of Republican friends. I get it.
Okay, fair enough. Appreciate that, Junos. Thank you for that. I will say this. What about the notion that when you say how did you rephrase that, poisoning?
He said he doesn't want to poison the blood of America by migrants coming over.
Okay, let me give you the interpretation of that, because sometimes Trump misspeaks, and we got to make sure the liberals don't run crazy with it. Have you been in certain cities where virtually nobody speaks English, where you can't even go into a cafe because the person doesn't speak English? You're poisoning our culture. We can't even...
That's not blood, sir. That's not blood. We know what he meant by it. He says things like this all the time. He has a lot of those dog whistles, and it's bad. I think what's really concerning is we will have a president, most likely, that will not be able to vote for himself in the 2024 election because he will be found guilty of at least one felony charge. So we're going to say to the world, we're going to go ahead and put a felon into the office, into the highest office in our country.
Would you turn your back on a relative that had a felony if you thought the felony was just a bunch of BS? I mean, maybe those felonies are just politicized.
One, not 91, dude. I mean, listen, if he just had, and this isn't new. Like, all his buddies are going to prison. His lawyers go to prison. In fact, 3 of them actually committed, said, we're guilty, and 1 to a felony. So they're guilty, but Trump's innocent in all of this?
Yeah, but I mean, you can say the same. You can say the same thing about Hunter. Hunter's going to be pinned with a few felonies as well. Yeah, but you're going to tell me Hunter Biden did all of that stuff, committed all those crimes, and his dad ain't got nothing to do with it?
Okay, so lying on a gun application, where does Biden get involved with that? You still looking at your kids' applications?
What about the
taxes? Those are the 2 things. Okay, so lying on a gun application. I don't know what my kids write on applications. Do you? That's a little helicopter parenting. Okay. Second, he didn't pay his taxes, which he's now paid. So either way, he's not even in office. Unlike Trump, who put his own kids, which isn't even allowed, into office, in which they profited off billions of dollars. Billions.
You don't see Burisma in this conversation at all?
Absolutely not.
You think Hunter Biden deserved that job and that high income?
I think that shit happens all the time.
I mean, did they even drug test the man? How do you get a job like that when you're on crack?
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that Donald Trump could get a job as a manager at Burger King right now with a sexual assault charge against him, 91 felony counts, fraudulent, a university, a fraudulent business right now? Do you think he could get a job with any of that on his application?
No, not
Absolutely
right. No, not right now. He would. 91 felonies would probably disqualify you.
Never. He's been found liable for assaulting a woman. No way.
Well, he wasn't criminally. That's civil. That's civil.
It doesn't matter. He's still liable.
But you don't have to disclose that on the job application.
But don't we all know?
Yeah, we know, but you don't have to put it down there. All right, Mishi.
Okay. Well, there's tons more, but hey, friend, I know you got other people to come up, but it's nice to see you.
Absolutely a pleasure. You know how we do. Come on back anytime. I'm going to come check you out sometime. All right.
Oh, yeah. I'm not doing content anymore.
Oh, no. What happened?
Yeah, we can talk offline. Follow me back.
Roger that. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Why? And I was wondering the name change. Maybe that explains it. Looking in the comments, and I will tell you folks this. Do appreciate you guys tapping the screen. 1,300 of you in here. Absolutely a pleasure. You guys should be to get me to around 80,000 if you guys let your thumbs not be lazy. Get your boy likes up. I do appreciate all of you folks. And Kelly, thank you for the roses. Shout out to you. Just a real quick response to me, my last caller, and I'll go back to the box. It can be challenging for some content creators. A lot of folks do not like what we're saying, particularly if our politics opposes theirs. I get shit sent to me all the time. Some of it is outright racist. Some of it is you're a sellout, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a Sambo. I get hammered from both sides, probably because my position is generally in the middle. I can see, as you see today, I can see both sides of most issues. And a lot of folks don't want to hear the other side. So hopefully that didn't have anything to do with her, but it does with some folks. Looking in the comments. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hey, listen, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. You can't talk politics with thin skin. Most folks that are involved in the political sphere are quite passionate. We're talking about the economy. We're talking about women's losing rights in some cases, folks losing potentially gun rights. People are passionate about this stuff. You can't speak on this if you don't have a thick skin. But sometimes it can carry over to folks actually making threats, and nobody should have to go through that. But I can understand if somebody does not want to continue. Not saying my last caller did this, but I can understand some people getting out of the game if it gets to that. I think you are fair. You are conservative. Okay. All right, Script. Watch the program tomorrow as well. Why are our presidential candidates so old? Like, why don't we have younger presidents? Jermaine, that's a great question. The answer is simple. Why are your presidential candidates so old? Because you keep voting for them. You don't need term limits. I am a staunch critic of folks asking for term limits. Divik, appreciate that. Thank you, Divik. And I'll tell you why I'm against term limits. You don't need the federal government to tell you who you can and you cannot vote for. If you think somebody's been in office too damn long, stop voting for them. You think Mitch McConnell in a deep red state like Kentucky, where the right is calling for term limits, don't vote the guy. Liberals ain't putting Mitch McConnell back in office. Same thing with Nancy Pelosi. You got a hell of a lot of Democrats. Well, she's too old. She's been in office too long. Stop voting for her. You don't think the Republicans are voting and electing Nancy Pelosi? If you think she's been around too damn long, you're the one that keeps electing these people. That's why you have candidates that are so damn old. We keep voting them in, period. There are plenty of folks that could have stepped up and called for, Trump to step down or Biden to get out of the way. It's not enough of them doing it. Looking in the comments, we see Trump at least loved his country and people. Biden only cares about Biden. Fair enough. A lot of folks do believe politicians are narcissistic by nature, but there's a hell of a lot of people that think what you said about Biden also applies to Trump. Going to the box, to Keisha. I know I'm going to get hammered here, but that's what we're here for. Today we're posing as a nil. Good afternoon to Keisha. What would be wrong with 45 becoming 47?
You posing as one. Stop it, girl. You ain't posing, baby. You just coming out with what you really are. Check this out. I got a question.
What am I, Richard Simmons now? Keep going.
Nah, you're a Republican. Listen, check this out. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Because it was something you said that I wanted to know. You said you went to the border when Trump was in office.
2017, sat there on the Rio Grande, talked to 5 border agents, all Hispanic.
Why haven't you been down there since Biden been in office?
I don't have that career anymore. I was an over-the-road driver, and
They gonna stop you if you come down there?
No, but I had to go down there at my own expense now. I was paid to go down there back then.
Okay, but still, go on down there so you can stop saying what people say, and you'll have your knowledge firsthand, and you can come back and tell us, well, such and so is true because I've been there. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Don't just go when Trump. I want you to go now too, so we'll know what we wrong about, and you can come tell us what we right about.
It would be hard for me to imagine, though. Hold on, let me respond. It would be hard for me to imagine that if I went down to the border in 2023 as opposed to when I did in 2017, that the opinion would be much different. It's gotten worse. I don't think the opinion.
But that's what I'm saying. You can come back and tell us how worse it's gotten, because you can talk to the people, since we saying the border is wide open and we ain't got.
I didn't say that. I didn't say the border was wide open.
You did.
Okay.
I didn't say you did. I said people on your live be saying that.
Okay.
So you can come back and let us know if it's wide open and they got gift boxes and gift baskets waiting on the people that's coming in, because we welcome them with open arms, it's wide open.
Let me ask you this question, though. Let me ask you this.
I know some people that say they went down there and they say it's not as bad as people say. So, see, I just want somebody that can be biased. Ain't going to be biased like you. You for both sides. And I think we can get a real look.
But wait, Takesha. Wait, Takesha, do you really need to go down to the border to know that there's a problem? I mean, you see what's happening in Chicago and Pittsburgh and all these places where these border folks are going. You really think you actually need to go down there to verify that?
Listen, handsome, all I'm saying is this. If we had somebody can go firsthand that is not biased like you, you for both sides, then we can kind of, get a good look and believe it. Because all you see on TV is black on black crime, so people think white on white crime doesn't happen. Yeah. It's all about what they show you.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. As a Chicago native, I've seen the videos. I got family, a lot of family living in Chicago still, and they're pissed off with all the immigrants all over the streets of Chicago. And that's happening now.
I understand, and I can tell you I have the best children in the world, but that doesn't mean they are. I'm saying it's better when you get the information, when you see.
Yeah, I get it, but I hear what you're saying, but I don't think I need to eat. I don't need to eat a Big Mac every week to know that stuff is unhealthy. I believe the doctors. I hear what you're saying. Go see it for yourself, but I believe this one.
Okay, sugar. Well, let's get to talking about what the subject is. Now, what was the subject?
The subject is indeed, I'm the devil's advocate goes MAGA. What the hell would be so bad if Trump got elected again? $2 gas.
What would be so good?
Well, the price of groceries under Trump was phenomenal.
Okay, hold on. Is his name Walt? Does he own Walmart?
No, he does not.
Does he own grocery stores?
No, he does not.
Does he own OPEC?
No. What's your point?
So how would the prices be better if he doesn't own those things? How is he controlling them?
Under Trump, regardless of who owns these things, the prices were better. You don't get no credit at all for what under Obama, the prices were better. You don't give Obama no credit for his economy?
Let me explain something to you, Hanson. The stores set their own prices.
Okay.
The oil companies set their own prices.
All right.
Has nothing to do with. I don't believe that. Now jobs, yeah, I'll get them credit for jobs. But what these folks charging? No, I'm not gonna get them no credit for that.
Why they didn't charge it under Trump? Why did they wait till Biden came along to act a fool?
Sir, We had a pandemic 2 years before Trump was out of office. You think that was just gonna come back time Biden hit the office day one?
It came back worse than it was before the pandemic.
We were still in the pandemic. People were still refusing to get a shot. People were still refusing to mask up. The COVID was still going on.
Okay, and I'm assuming that
it just magically stopped when Biden put his hand on that Bible and took that oath.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you feel the same way with the fact that under Trump, these nations were not all encroaching on other nations, all these wars. Biden ain't got nothing to do with it. It's all just happening because this guy got in office. Everything just fell apart, but he ain't got no responsibility for any of it.
There's a time and a season for everything.
And it all happened under Biden.
Hold on. When you got a president that they know is crooked and in their pocket, what they gonna go attack somebody for?
Well, maybe we need to be crooked and in their pocket if it'll keep world peace.
Ain't nobody finna do that, handsome.
So in other words, he just go to...
I don't care if you put another spray tan color on Trump and give him a heart of the Lord. That ain't gonna change what Donald Trump is. It ain't gonna make him look like the best president. It ain't gonna make him look like the worst president. It ain't gonna make him look presidential. He's still Donald Trump. I don't trust no man that his wife couldn't trust to keep his penis in his pants when they were married.
What about the guy that can barely string together a sentence? You trust him?
When is that? When is that?
You ain't seen Biden?
Biden has a stutter. Can we talk about Trump and how he been getting up there telling me he running against Obama? Let's talk about this.
Wait a minute. You said...
Hold on. Let's talk about how he said he met with the president of Puerto Rico and he the president of Puerto Rico. Let's talk about a lot of stuff he said that they seem to quickly forget when it comes to President Trump. Don't try to make it seem like he's so articulate. He barely can pronounce words that don't have 3 letters in them.
But then let me hold on. So let me ask you. You said that Biden has a stuttering problem. So I have to. Does his leg stutter too? Why is he falling down all the time? Having trouble walking? Huh?
Because he old as hell.
So maybe we need somebody that's a little bit more cognizant.
I'm 50 years old. I'll be 50 years old next year. Hell, I stumbled at the doctor the other day. Does that mean I'm incompetent?
If you keep stumbling after day, yeah.
I'm incompetent.
No, it means you can't walk very well. If you keep falling over and over again.
How many times he done fell over?
I could give you all 5 of my fingers and not have any left. He fell off his bike. He tripped over a bag of sand, fell down the stairs, fell off the stage. He's falling all the time. He sounds like an Alicia Keys album.
Handsome. Y'all be seeing these videos. Y'all get so excited. Because, I'm going to call it y'all. Because, see, I've already deciphered that you on the other side. You just don't want to let us know. But listen, y'all ain't bringing up nothing with Trump got to hold his glass with 2 hands just to drink. Y'all ain't looking at the fact that he held onto a rail to walk down with a serviceman. Because if he didn't hold on to the rail, he might have would have failed too. So cut it out, okay?
All right. I don't know. I'm looking at Biden. Do you look at Biden? You said he's old as hell. Do you look at Biden? Does he look like somebody that you can depend on to maintain one of the toughest jobs in the world for 4 straight more years? Does he look like that guy to you?
Trump look like
that ain't what I asked you. That ain't what you're deflecting.
No. I really think that Biden needs to retire. I do.
All right.
I think he should enjoy the rest of his life. I think he served the country for a good little while, and I think he do need to sit down and rest and enjoy the rest of his life. But okay, he fell off a bike, but he got on one. When did Trump get on a bike?
Maybe Trump is smart enough not to do something he can't do.
Wait a minute. You think if Donald Trump get on a bike with no training wheels, he ain't gonna fall off?
I think Trump is smart enough not to embarrass himself on TV.
And that's the poor part about it. That he know he can't do this stuff, and they thinking he can, and he just making them think that he can, and they just believe.
I seen Takesha.
Trump is not as in good health as y'all think he is.
I seen President Trump, who later was
calling him president. Why you keep calling him president?
Same reason why I call President Carter, President Clinton. Okay.
He's former.
All right. But here's the point. I seen Trump, while he still was president, walked from the porch of the White House to Marine One, the helicopter, when his doctor later admitted he was low on oxygen and really sick from COVID. Just to show the public, a strong man, he walked while really sick with COVID from the White House to Marine One. No wheelchair, anything. That's a strong man.
When Biden won, he jogged on the stage. Go look at the video. He jogged to the stage.
That probably was AI. That was probably AI.
No, sir, that wasn't no damn AI. Stop the lies. I don't care what kind of advocate you is today, but you're acting like a devil's ass. Don't do that. That was not AI. Stop.
They went and hired a younger actor and put Biden's head on top. That was Mark Wahlberg. That was Mark Wahlberg with Biden's head. That was Mark Wahlberg with Biden's head superimposed on it.
You sound just like MAGA.
That's the point. Appreciate you coming through, Takesha.
All right, sweetie.
Absolute. All right, looking in the comments. I know this is a very unusual show. Like I said, Devil's Advocate goes MAGA. Tomorrow's show may be different. Real quick, understand, if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without the host censoring, banning, or blocking you, because we don't do that here, follow the program. It's always about free speech. We'll always let our guests speak. Understand, you won't be blocked, banned, or censored. No matter how much. You probably won't get 100, but I'll take what I can get. I do appreciate that. This country needs better options on both sides. There's a lot of people that agree with that. But there's also a group that believes that Trump was on to something great for this country and he needs his 4 more years to finish the job. So that's what we're here for. No one is perfect. Love the free speech. Donna, I like that. Thank you. Appreciate that. And that's what we're here for. She got the best of you, says JoJo. Yeah, I heard that when I walked out of divorce court. I heard that before. Many of us feel trapped. That's kind of how our nation always been. I get your point. I understand. A lot of folks want more options, want more choices, and kind of feel trapped in the political system we have. I totally understand that. I don't know what else we can do about that. You are right. Congress needs an overhaul. It's simple. Don't vote these people in. Do not vote these people in. Don't vote George Santos in as a alternate, but pay attention to who you vote for. For you folks that may have seen or may be old enough to have seen the movie Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy, where he simply ran because he had the same last name as the prior, the person who served in office before that had died, and he had the same name. And just running under that same name, he was able to get elected. A lot of folks don't pay attention to these down ballot races. As opposed to Congress getting an overhaul, just pay closer attention to who we vote for. That's all you got to do. That's all you don't need the federal government to come in and force people out of office, limit how long you can vote for folks and things like that. You kind of already have that power in your hand. You just got to actually use it. How does it feel to act like MAGA? Tim says that, like I said, it's a slow news day. I don't really want to go too much in Rudolph Giuliani dealing with Ruby Freeman and company, or, Hunter Biden is taking on Congress because he believes he is being railroaded to get at his dad. Those are kind of the news stories. So today, for shits and giggles, after talking to a few folks on the left that now believes that maybe Trump is a better choice than Biden, I decided to do the devil's advocate thing. Devil's advocate goes MAGA is what you got today. So it feels like that. It's kind of how it feels. Why aren't more pro-freedom Republicans actually libertarians? Same for liberals. Because I don't think anyone is completely pro-freedom. I think people are pro-freedom when it is the freedoms they want. But when it's the freedoms that they don't like, they're not pro-freedom anymore. Like, for instance, I always say when it comes to free speech, everybody is in favor of free speech until you say some shit they don't want to hear. Right now, you hear everybody, just pointing out what has actually happened, not taking a side, but folks are criticizing the liberals on a lot of stuff. Yeah! Thank you for that. Was that Christina? I saw... Whoever sent that hat and mustache, thank you for that. the liberals are often accused of cancel culture. You know, you got Elon Musk opening up Twitter, changing it to X because he thought a lot of liberals were canceling free speech. Liberals are always getting accused of this. However, how many of you have heard of the Dixie Chicks? They were speaking out against the war in Iraq. The right completely canceled that country group. Country singers, the females, completely canceled them. Free speech. Remember, free speech. They didn't like the war. They thought the war was bullshit. History has taught us that that war was bullshit. How many of you heard Bill O'Reilly, freedom fries, because France wasn't a fan of the war? So you get cancel culture from both sides. I think Kid Rock, not a big fan of Bud Light. I mean, everybody's for free speech until you say something they don't want to hear. So I don't think that that is something that is unique to one side or the other. I can come up with plenty of examples of the right and left trying to cancel people that they didn't like. It happens on both sides. Looking in the comments, as a veteran that served in Iraq, our society is soft these days. Jeff, our society has always been soft. They wouldn't even put Lucy, Enrico Ricardo, remember I Love Lucy, sleeping in different beds. What husband and wife actually does that shit even in the 1950s? Our society was soft on showing a man and woman in bed together. Sidney Poitier, the heat of the night, I believe it was, slaps a white sheriff because he was being mistreated. They didn't want to show that. Our society has always been soft. As I stated, everyone is for free speech until you say something they didn't want to hear. For the most part in our society, it has been Christian culture that has been soft in banning people from doing things, whether it's interracial couples on TV. I mean, since the beginning of time. I'm talking literally since the beginning of time. I believe there was a children's book that featured a brown bunny and a white bunny in children's language. There's no interaction between the bunnies, and they actually banned the book because they believed at the time it might lead blacks and whites to get together. You're talking stuff that is decades old. Our country's always been soft. Looking in the comments, I stopped listening to Kid Rock because of the racist company he keeps. Knowing the black community did, and I didn't see the rest of that. I'm voting for Biden in 2024. What if Trump is better? What if Trump is better? That's what we're here for. Going back to the box, devil's advocate, goes MAGA. We're going to go straight to Grandpa Joe. Good afternoon, Grandpa. Welcome to the program. What would be so wrong if 45 became 47? Maybe Trump is what this country needs right now. Inflation rates are still high. Goods and services still cost a fortune. Gas is getting under control, but it's still higher than it was with Trump. And there's a hell of a lot of global conflicts going on, not to mention very few people in this country are happy with what's going on the southern border. Maybe Trump could get things better. Biden is almost done with his term. And the unhappiness level, even among Democrats, is pretty damn high. What's wrong with putting Trump back in power? That's what we're talking about. I don't know what's going on with my box. We'll keep it going, though. In the comments, V-Dog says, true, love this. Appreciate that. Glad to have you on. You making these Biden lovers mad, says the famous Dobbs. Hey, you got to be able to see both sides of an issue. I just want to point that out. Northern border, says Ricky. I don't think the northern border has the same problems as the southern border, for the simple fact that folks that live in northern border states are not complaining as much. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of Republican states on the border, but state of Washington, I don't hear folks in Seattle complaining about it being overrun by immigrants. Maine is a liberal state generally. I don't hear them really complaining that much. Minnesota is currently liberal. I don't hear them complaining about being overrun by immigrants. So it's coming from the South. That's where the American citizens are complaining the most. I'm not saying you can't enter the northern border illegally, or that folks may not be doing that, but it's not happening to anywhere near the scale of what's down south. Otherwise, people in Montana, North Dakota, and some of these Idaho, some of these countries that are at the top of they would be complaining. They would be saying something. They're not complaining. They're not saying somebody's on my ranch stealing something or I saw smuggling. There's a very few cases of that compared to at the north. It's probably 1,001 coming from the southern border. Looking in the comments, they complain when they are sent north. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Somebody says completely wrong. Chris Erickson, you're telling me the complaints from citizens in northern states on the border is equivalent to citizens in southern states on the border? You telling me I'm wrong about that? You telling me they're having a major border issue up north and they're complaining? No, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. They are not complaining in South Carolina either. All right. All right, fair enough. I could go for a mean tweet and $2 gas right now. Very common phrase. $2 gas does sound good, don't it? Don't it sound good? I drive all day for a living, so I know that $2 gas would be awesome. I would make more profit. Anima, I do appreciate you holding on. I didn't know you were still in there. I do appreciate that. What's wrong with Trump getting back in office? What would be so bad about that?
Clarifying question real quick. Can you hear me all right?
Loud and clear.
So is this Tim the Handsome Liberal is woke towards Trump now? Or is this because you've been saying it's some random person.
This is a devil's advocate goes MAGA. We'll leave it at that.
All right, because if it was Tim, I'd have a lot easier conversation here. But okay,
every day can't be easy. Every day can't be easy. Go ahead.
Random woke Trump supporter. Okay, do you believe in common sense?
Absolutely.
Walls have been shown to be a failure as far as protecting the borders of a full country. It was a pointless endeavor. They're falling. The ones that he did put up are falling down already.
Do you think? If Trump's border wall is shown to be a failure, then why is Biden trying his best to keep it up?
That is an inaccurate statement. Biden was attempting to not direct those funds in that way.
And how did that work?
They were already appropriated. They were already appropriated by Congress. Congress denied his attempts to reappropriate. That's how it works. Power of the purse.
So how do you think Biden is doing with the border? If Trump failed, you think Biden's doing a better job on the border than Trump?
I think if there wasn't an election coming up, we wouldn't be hearing as much about it. Is it perfect? No, but it never has been. I honestly challenge you to tell me one president in history of the United States that has done an amazing job on the border.
Well,
and I would reference the fact that Reagan was actually for more immigration.
Yeah, Reagan allowed 86,000 to come in on amnesty or something. But let me just say this real quick. You're saying that you think it's being discussed because there's an election. They've been talking about the border since day one. How long it took Kamala to go down there even see these people. This has been an issue Biden's entire presidency. This ain't something new. They've been complaining about it from... Yeah, right. An 81-year-old man getting pregnant. Oh, what say you? That's really LGBT there. But so I think the border issue has been harmful to the Biden administration from day one. I don't think this is something that's just coming up because election is coming near.
So as I said, it wouldn't be talked about as much. Yes, there's always some communication about the border, but it would not be at this heightened state if there was not an election coming up. And yes, I do realize that they have talked about it since the beginning of Biden's presidency. It's interesting to me that even though Trump had similar levels, I mean, yes, we're higher, but it's not that much higher if you look at the numbers. Even though Trump had similar levels, I didn't hear them going all wild about how terrible Trump was on the border, even though he did not accomplish a full wall around our southern border. I did have two other points. Would you like me to move on?
I'll let you move on, but let me just respond to that one. You didn't hear the same complaints with Trump on the border because Trump was, whether you think he succeeded or failed, Trump was actually trying to do something about it. Whether it's laws, whether it's the wall you said didn't work, Trump was trying to address it. That's why he didn't get the same criticism that Biden is, because Biden tried to remove the ways the border was addressed and actually promote policies that would let more people in. Go on, keep it going though.
Well, to finalize that point, I would say that we have a current labor shortage, and I think it's very important that we reduce the barriers that make it take sometimes between 7 and 10 years for people to actually immigrate into this nation legally, and give them, in some cases, no other option. So do you believe in law and order?
Absolutely.
Okay. 4 indictments, 91 felony charges.
Okay.
Is that irrelevant?
Well, if I believe in law and order, I believe the man deserves his day in court. He has not been convicted of any of that. Give him his day in court and come back to me later when he's actually convicted.
Okay, we'll talk about the civil finding against him in an SA charge. He has been convicted of that.
Okay.
Do you acknowledge that?
Yeah, he was found liable civilly for something that happened 30 years ago. I mean, do we want to hold any of these folks accountable for things they did 30 years ago? Civilly, let him pay his fine, but criminally, he has not been convicted of anything.
How old was Trump 30 years ago?
40 something, 40, what is he, 77 or something like that? 47, I guess.
And so we don't agree that a 47-year-old individual has probably come into their own as an adult and is acting in the way that they are likely to act the rest of their lives?
No, we agree there. However, many folks believe that if President Trump wasn't the bombastic guy he is, that would have never made its way to court. Is that he was railroaded, and the only reason this woman got any type of light shed on her at all was the hatred of Trump.
I would just point out the many, many hundreds of thousands probably of cases where we find that women are afraid to report. And it's due to people who do not believe them, that they choose to either wait or potentially never report.
I don't disagree with that. But I will tell you this. There's been allegations on President Biden as well, and I do believe that if he had Trump's attitude and had as much hatred coming towards him, people would have probably came forward saying that their children and things like that have had issues with Biden as well. They just haven't because he don't have the same amount of hatred.
Well, you know, when it comes down to it, with as many things as Trump has going against him, it seems not to follow common sense to just ignore it all. But so first point was, do you believe in common sense? Second point was, do you believe in law and order? Third point is, are you a patriot?
Yes.
Trump tried to overthrow our government by attempting to stop the legal process of getting the president into the office that would succeed him. And for the last 3 years has done everything in his power to try to make everyone believe, especially the MAGA individuals, that associate with that hat behind you, that the big steal was a real thing, when all of the facts point to the fact that that is untrue.
So then let me ask you a question. If you believe Trump,
hold on just a sec, including Trump-appointed judges denying the validity of the evidence that they were provided and not even seeing the hearing through, which is one of the points that MAGA make to support their their belief that that it was in fact stolen, when the reality is if a Trump-appointed judge, which he vetted them all, they were loyalists. That's why he put them on the bench, and they were able to, without bias, examine the evidence they were provided and say, no, this is not a valid case. I will not hear this case.
Okay, so you said Trump tried to overthrow the government. Is that a crime?
The incitement of an attempt to stop the legal processes involved with Congress.
Is that a crime?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
If that's a crime, show me a conviction. You're accusing this guy of a bunch of stuff. Show me where he's been convicted of any of this. Until he's convicted, it's just allegations.
So what you're referring to is the judicial system's necessity of being able to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that crime has been committed. We're talking innocent until proven guilty.
You said you asked me in the beginning, do I believe in law and order? I believe in the Constitution. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. You're holding the guy guilty of a bunch of stuff that he has not been proven of yet.
So again, that is a judicial necessity to prove guilty beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Right. Law and order.
So we are citizens, and evidence has already been provided to us as citizens, which we can examine. We can read through the court cases. We can examine the evidence that has been exposed thus far. And yes, there will be court cases, and certainly I expect at least. I'm gonna make a guesstimation I have not made yet. I'm gonna say probably 20 to 30 of the 91 indictments are going to be found against Trump. Whether or not that puts him in jail, I would hazard a guess that there's a potential that he might be able to golf on Mar-a-Lago with his ankle bracelet. But
well, you could be right.
With a 98.
You could be right, and you're right. The feds have a ridiculous conviction rate, but I'm just going to go back to my original point. The man is not guilty until proven innocent. He's innocent until proven guilty. You could be right about all of this, but until that actually happens, the man cannot be called any of this stuff without adding the word alleged. He hasn't been convicted of any of it.
Incorrect. If so, regardless of a 30-year timeline and regardless of it being a civil rather than criminal case, if somebody was found liable in civil court for a SA, would you allow that person to watch your children?
Probably not, no.
So a person that you would not allow to watch your children, you would allow to watch all of the children of this great nation?
No, I wouldn't. But I'll add on, if you showed me photos over and over of an old man sniffing kids' hairs, I wouldn't let that person watch my kid either. I mean, I don't think Biden is a great antidote.
How many times were those photos of his grandchild?
I don't care if it's 99% of his grandchild and 1% of all these other strange kids, it would still be enough for me to keep my kid away from him.
Understandable. So don't let Biden watch your children. Based on that, but then I would also turn it around on you and say, have there been any convictions of child sniffing against Biden?
Well, but I told you earlier that I do believe that if President Biden had as many enemies as Trump, some of those pictures would turn into actual allegations in court. I don't think that's going to happen because Biden is more personable than Trump.
Have we tallied up the enemies of President Biden and ex-President Trump?
I mean, there's 74 million people that voted for Trump. I'm assuming that's how many enemies Biden has in this country. Like 74 million. I don't know, what's your point?
Well, I think we're, even if we go with polls, which I don't really have any deference to a poll that's roughly a year out from the actual election. But even if we were to go with polls, let's say Trump has 58%, polling at 58% versus Biden's, under 50. So we're saying that more of America is an enemy of Biden, correct?
Yeah. Okay. I don't, something.
So I would disagree with your premise.
Yeah, I don't think that more of America is an enemy of Biden. I believe that there are more Americans that probably do not favor President Trump. I don't think there's a lot of people that love Biden at all. In fact, most of the election is either going to be pro-Trump or anti-Trump. The pro-Biden vote is probably 10-15% of the vote.
Well, at this point, because I do want to move it along, I believe I saw you had like 18 requesters for your box. It's the best I've seen in a while for you, Tim. Way to go.
It's crazy. I appreciate you coming on. No, Anima. Good conversation.
Yeah, no, I just will leave it with real quick. The silent majority and the loud minority that I've spoke to you about on your live before.
Yes, you have.
I truly believe that the people who are aware and I'm going to say it. The woke people, they're woke because they understand that they don't want a president with 91 indictments
I understand your point. I get it. You might be right.
That person to lead, but they're not spending, all day long talking about it. They're just living their lives, hoping for the economy to get better, which it has, and actually it has faster than most of the other nations on the planet. And they are going to vote blue for president. But,
all right.
Thanks, Tim, for having me up.
Absolute. Looking in the comments real quick, over 100,000 likes. Wow. Appreciate that. Still 1,100 of you in here. What about the paid off actors against President Trump? Exactly. President of Trump University is going to prison. Yeah, that does. So is Hunter Biden's son if his dad doesn't interfere. But you're right. I've noticed people who don't like Trump don't live in the real world, says Chris Vance. Don't go woke, you go broke. That is actually valid in a lot of cases. Going woke can cost you a lot of money. That has some validity to it. Yes, they are talking about it all day long, and the economy. Economy is very important. I think that's the age-old phrase. It's the economy, stupid. Devil's Advocate goes MAGA. Let's go back to the box. We'll keep it going with this is a simple name. Love. Good afternoon, love. What would be so wrong? I don't think what happened with my last call, it didn't come back up. Okay, we'll keep it moving in. Going MAGA can cost you family. Got Shirley. That is so true. That is so true. Simply talking to MAGA has cost me a hell of a lot of folks. I got a YouTube page. This is also simultaneously being ran on YouTube right now under the Handsome Liberal as well, and it's live there. And I've had people unsubscribe simply from the sight of me and the MAGA hat, even though the program is clearly titled The Handsome Liberal. Just simply wearing this hat can cost you family. It is what it is. A lot of folks are really passionate in regards to who they support. Trump inherited a good economy from Obama. That is true, but he didn't screw it up, Dwayne. It stayed great under Trump. By some metrics, it got better under Trump. He don't get any credit for that. If you're president and you inherit a good economy, the only judgment you get is when you screw it up. As long as you're maintaining it, the last guy gets credit. So the only judgment you can get is bad. That's not fair. If he's in office and the economy stays great for the next 2 or 3 years, he gets credit because at that point he's in control. I mean, that's not being fair no matter who's in office. To say Trump gets no credit for the economy because he got a good economy from Obama, knowing that if he had screwed it up, you would be all over him for that. He gets credit for the performance of the economy, whether it's good or bad. At some point, it's his responsibility. It's no longer still being blamed on the last guy. Except the economy didn't stay great with Trump. He tanked it. After the pandemic kicked in, the economy tanked. If you want to suggest that Trump's handling of the pandemic was poor, we might have a conversation there. But I don't see anything that would lead me to believe, at least maybe I'm wrong, you can tell me that in the comments, that if the pandemic had not have happened, I'm under the assumption all 4 years of President Trump, we would have had a good economy. I don't see nothing that he did that was detrimental to the economy before the pandemic hit. So you want to talk about it from the pandemic, we can go that way. But other than the pandemic, I think, yeah. But you just said he made it better. He did make it better before the pandemic. If you look at the metrics of what Trump inherited from Obama, the pandemic started kicking off in late 2019. November, December of 2019, you started having the first COVID cases in America. So Trump was inaugurated January of 2017. Pandemic started hitting very late in 2019. So Trump was in office well over 2.5 years before the pandemic kicked in. During those 2.5 years, January 2017, November 2019, the economy was going up under President Trump. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know where I'm wrong in on that. Before the pandemic kicked in, jobs numbers, inflation, the economy was getting better under President Trump. Trump messed the taxes up for the working class. Some say that permanent tax cut for those at the top, in a limited or a temporary tax cut for the middle class. I've heard people say that. Pandemic was purposely created and all by design. Lisa, you think the pandemic was created? Well, let me take that back. If it happened in Wuhan and it was meant to be a bioweapon that got out of control, some Jurassic Park type shit, it was created. It was by design. It just didn't go the way it was intended. There could be some validity to that. There actually could be some validity to that. have anything. Miss M says you don't have anything positive to talk about. What's so negative about 45 becoming 47? Maybe we would get our $2 gas back. Inflation rate would drop so I can get out of this car and get another better one, get a better house. I mean, the interest rates on loans were better under Trump. You don't give him no credit for that at all, huh? Let's go talk to Susie. Good afternoon, Susie. Welcome to the program. What would be so wrong with Trump coming back, Susie? Susie, are you there? All right, apparently Susie is not there. We'll keep it moving. Anyhow, folks, well, it is indeed a lunch break live. 109,000 likes. I wasn't expecting that. I enjoy you guys every day. We'll be back here tomorrow. You can find out if you tune in tomorrow, was it a devil's advocate playing MAGA or did the switch actually happen? Until then, if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, follow the program. We're here Monday through Friday. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Appreciate you guys tuning in. YouTube, I appreciate you few folks that are here. One way, maybe I'm gonna start parking in a different location so that the damn sun, because the sun moves, obviously during our program, and it always comes in through this window. So I'll see what I can do. Catch you guys later. Catch you guys tomorrow. I think I will. There we go.